Hey, we're finally back, dudes.
Oh, hey. It's only been, what? Since
Jesus, like October.
October, yeah.
October. It's February. We're terrible. And also, I apologize because we did lie to you. When we were like, new episode, January 20th.
I was like, do I just delete the post?
I know. I thought, I was like, man, I feel like we should. But, like, also, like, we're very honest in our lives.
I know, right? It's just like, shit happens.
I know, and it's just that weird time of year where, well, even like now, like COVID or no COVID, like it's fucking northern Illinois winter, like you never fucking know.
Yeah, well, like you saw that we have a heater in the garage. We had our pipes burst and my car break down at the same time.
Hey, I'm just hopeful that like nothing like that happens to us, like before we buy our house.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm just like so paranoid that I'm fortunate enough that like I'm fully remote now, but like, it just makes me want to puke.
Yeah, honestly.
It sucks.
Same. Luckily enough, like both things we really lucked out on. Like we didn't even have to go through insurance for the pipes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and the car was a simple fix.
That's good. That's even better though. It's so nice when you have like those quick fixes. Like
the reason that I found out that my car wouldn't start was I really had to use the restroom, and we clearly did not have any water because the pipe just burst. So I was like, okay, well, I'll just drive down to the nearest gas station, and I go to start my car, and it wouldn't start. I was like, this is the worst day ever.
Dude, I always feel like, I was honestly, like, even thinking about this, like, prior to, like, coming here, but, like, don't you, like, it feels like whenever you're, like, not necessarily in a hurry, but, like, when you have something pressing, it's just, like, every fucking thing.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Oh, my God, I hate it so much. Like, today, I was like, okay, I'm going to leave here at 6, we're going to be good, and then, like, I got, it was almost 6, so I'm like, fuck, I'm hungry. I was like, okay, I'm going to eat some soup real quick, and then I was like, shit, I still need to go get Mike's. And then I get in my car is stuck in the ice.
Oh, no.
Trying to get that hoe out, finally get her out, get almost out of town. Then I'm like, I don't have my fucking mask, because I have a car mask. I usually have 2. And I didn't have it, and then I was like, shit.
Yeah.
So I turn around, get my mask, because I'm like, can I, like, just go and, like, go in, like, a gas station? I was like, I don't know if I can. And then I got gas, and I opened my car, to get out, and I find my fucking car mask.
Oh, no.
So then I get gas, and I get the new mics, because, oh, guys, guess what?
We've got mics.
We got this set up. Okay, so I don't even know why I'm explaining this, because nobody fucking listens. And, like, even if they do, like, I don't think anybody listened back in the day when I, like, started this by myself. But, like, I had a good-ass, like, system set up. It was nice. It was awesome. But then, like, I had to, like, re-give back my computer because, like, some people. So, like, whatever. I'm not interested in, like, arguing. So then I didn't record for, like, a year because I didn't have a way to record. And then I used my shitty piece of shit. Like, I still hate this. Like, I want to, like, frisbee throw that hoe on a 55. I fucking hate it so much. And then my husband was like, oh, I have a computer. And I'm like, so fucking cool. And then it finally got it out of storage, like, maybe 2 weeks ago, but I just keep looking at it. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah, for sure.
This was exhausting. And then I plugged it in. And then I was playing with it today, and I was like, I wonder if I can do the same software that I used to do, because it's so much easier. And it did, and we're recording, so now our episodes are going to be like a full episode.
Not like 15-minute
sections, so we can't be like, okay, can I join this for a part? I don't remember. Like, I was so happy today I wanted to cry.
Right.
Like, as soon as I saw this, like, I was in such a good mood. And then so we went to storage to try to find my old mics. And I couldn't find them. Like, okay, all of my life, my entire existence as a human, minus, like, clothes, is in my storage.
Yeah,
like, it's a big-ass storage unit where, like, my stuff and my husband's stuff is, like, there.
Yeah.
Like,
I know,
like, my
girl.
couch is in there. My fucking bed is in there.
Yikes.
Shit makes me mad,
but soon.
It's okay. Soon. We're getting there. Anyway, so that was a weird fucking tangent. I'm not even going to take it out. I feel like it's important and relevant unless I listen to it back later and I'm like,
Because we can record.
We can fucking edit.
We can edit. That's the word I'm looking for.
And honestly, like, I'm so meticulous when I edit this shit. I'm going to have to probably relearn it. But, like, I will sit there for, like, 3 hours. Just, like, I don't know. It's just, I feel like, so I'm an old woman. And, like, I, like, go to bed at, like, 9 o'clock. Like, a baby. Same. Like, a little baby. But, like, I feel like when I have a task, girl, yeah. I can stay up to, like, 5 a.m.
Oh, I can. That makes me want to sleep even more. I, like, get so overwhelmed. I'm just like, sleep, please.
No, I don't know. If I have something to focus on, I feel like it's easier to stay up. Because I like to stay up. It's just hard.
Same.
When you don't have anything to do. And, like, when I have a task, like, I can, like, it has to be, like, a task. Like, cleaning, I don't really consider because, like, honestly, I'll do one thing and, like, I'm exhausted. But, like, this gives me something to do. This gives me something interesting to do. But, like, if I'm watching TV, fucking, like, I will fall asleep on the couch.
Oh, for sure.
Even, like, I get so excited because, like, I love Coast to Coast, which I feel like I've said more than once on this podcast. And there's some nights where the episodes are so good. I'm like, I'm going to stay up. I'm going to listen to this. Like, I have to go to, like, especially Fridays, people. If you want some good-ass fucking content, Fridays. And because they have fucking callers that, like, these fucking crazy people. Like, no tea, no shade, but, like,
I know.
they're fucking weird.
I have, like, listened to some recordings, though, from Coast to Coast, where they've just given me, like, straight goosebumps, dude.
It's fucking scary. Like, some of this stuff is fucking terrifying. And the worst part of it, I have been listening to that since I was fucking 6.
Right.
Like, and people wonder why. Did you hear that scream? It sounded like a scream. Did it sound like a scream?
Was that Gage? Yeah.
I don't know.
That was probably Gage.
I don't know.
I mean, if we're being honest.
Yeah, well, just that, whatever the fuck that was Gage. At least he's home tonight.
Yeah.
Stevie's working.
It just didn't sound like it was coming from...
It sounded down and down.
Okay, then there's probably was, because it sounded like it was behind me.
No.
I was like, fuck.
But I'm glad that you heard it, too, because it sounded weird. I don't know how to describe it. It didn't sound animalistic.
No.
It didn't really sound people-y either.
No,
you see this shit? This is the kind of stuff that, like, is he playing, like, a horror game?
He's playing probably Tarkov. Oh, no, he's playing Risk of Rain. But either way, he is the loudest person on the planet.
Yeah, it was like a weird, it didn't sound like a scream. It sounded like a weird scream in, like, a horror video game. Like, it was just, like, that's what it sounded like.
Yeah.
That's why I asked.
Yeah.
Well... Already picking up I swear I'm not like making this shit up. I feel like it follows me, and like it just every time I go to like there's one person's house I go to where like almost every time I go there like something fucking weird happens.
Yeah,
like without fail.
Really?
Like there was one time we'd gone there. I go there like it's like a regular thing. I go there all the time. But we were just sitting there just chilling and like. We were getting into some deep shit. Like, you know, we were a couple glasses of wine in, and like, she was just telling me about like some nasty shit that had happened in the past. And the fucking TV turned on. And then, like, Pandora wasn't working all fucking night. Like, from the time we got to her mom's house to her house, which is a couple towns away. And then the Pandora turned on, and her father had just passed away. And it was his song.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That turned on the Pandora.
Oh.
And the TV turned on.
Well, that's almost sweet. You know what I mean?
No,
like,
and that's how I took it, too. I was like, well, I mean, obviously, because this was not... Like, the conversation we were having was, like, very heavy. I mean, everything's fine now, but, like, it was just not... Especially if, like, you know them. Then
for
like,
sure.
What the fuck? Like, it just is not very... It's not them at all. And I was just like, holy shit. But, like, and then... another time I spent the night there and she had a dream visitation, so.
Dude, I had a dream visitation where my mom and I at the same night.
Shut the fuck up.
Yes.
Okay, this is not what we're discussing today, but like this needs to tell me.
My grandmother, actually.
Shut up. What happened?
Okay, so I woke up, it was like probably 5:30 in the morning, and basically in my dream we were in the motorhome, which, you know, we haven't been in for fucking years.
Forever.
And it was me and my grandmother, and I think my mom and my sister and them were all there. But I remember, like, every detail of that motorhome, like, but it was like I was there. And, like, it was just kind of a normal conversation. Then all of a sudden it came to, I'm like, wait, my grandma's here.
Yeah.
And she's not sick. Like, she's not. And I just, like, in the dream, I had a freak out.
Oh, shit.
And I, like, went to the bathroom, and I'm, like, freaking out. And there was, like, some voice, and it was, like, almost, like, internal.
Okay.
Saying, it's okay. She's not sick. Mm-hmm. Just enjoy your time you have with her.
Oh.
Yeah. And then I woke up sobbing.
I don't blame you.
And I messaged the group chat that I have with my mom in it. And she says, you're joking, right? Well, something along those lines. And I'm like, no. She's like, I just had the same dream,
Holy
but with
shit.
2 other people that she knew that passed away.
That's crazy.
And then a week ago, actually it was the day that my pipes burst, I texted my dad to tell him what was happening. He had the same dream about his mom.
What the
The same thing.
Insane.
She just kept saying, everything's okay. I just need to calm down. Everything's okay. We're okay about him and about her and my grandfather on his side. Yeah. So apparently we all needed something right now.
Realistically, especially like given the situation of the way things have been, like for you guys the last Jesus Christ, like a month, 2 months, Christ. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm like fortunate in the sense that like I'm not super close to like anybody that's passed. I mean, I was kind of close with like my great grandmother, but like he was so young. Even if I would have had a dream visitation, I don't know if I would have, because I was like 13, 14 when she passed. And then same with my cousin's mom. Like my cousin's mom, my cousin Sarah. So she was like my great aunt, I guess, but like she was so young. Like, like that was like my second mom. But like I just think like when they passed, they were just so young.
For sure.
That I mean, and even so, like I feel like for dream visitations, like, and I don't know, obviously I'm not, but I feel like it's just, they can't just do it whenever. So like I'm sure they have to come to like a select few people. So like, I mean, I'm not trying to like be negative or anything, but like I don't think that I would be somebody, the people I know that have passed would be like, okay, let me check in on her. You know what I mean? Like there's other people in their lives that are more important.
I never even really thought about that before.
That's just kind of like my reasoning, I guess. Like not necessarily, but I feel like if, because a lot of the people that have dream visitations, it's from like people who are like
close,
so close, so close.
Yeah,
and like yes, I was very close to these people, but like not necessarily close enough that they wouldn't want to visit.
No, of
like
course,
their children or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
So
well, I was gonna point out that like. It's going to be 4 years that she's been gone as of February 25th. So I'm wondering if...
It does not seem like that long.
No, it doesn't. No.
That's...
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But yeah, so I'm wondering if like maybe like the anniversary coming up
maybe
has
it's
anything.
Kind of like this picked up in like a spiritual something. I don't know, but that's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm glad that got to happen.
Yeah.
I feel like it was like reassuring.
For sure.
At least to some degree.
Yeah. No, I was definitely like, not freaked out, but so overwhelmed after what had happened.
I mean, that just the whole entire process from like the beginning to end with your grandma, it was.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, like a death, especially like that, is going to take a toll on anybody. And like you guys were like.
Yeah.
So close. So I think that's so sweet that like that happened.
Yeah, for sure.
It kind of makes me happy because I feel like whenever your grandma is mentioned by anybody, it's always something very positive. Like with Mikey.
Yeah,
like,
for
that
sure.
Shit's still like
I know.
That's crazy. But like, so I think that's good. I mean, I'm sure like it was overwhelming, but I feel like now you're like, oh my God, that was just reassuring almost.
Yes, definitely. I do feel like if she could see my reaction when I woke up, she might be like, oh shit, what did I do?
No, she'd be laughing at your ass.
Probably, honestly.
She'd be like, what a dipshit.
Calm the fuck down.
Jesus Christ, I just want to tell you I love you, fuck.
You dramatic ass.
Balloon, 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 balloon. talking about that, which we'll get into what this episode's actually about. It's just nice to like be able to have like an actual discussion, and we haven't done this for like 700 years.
Yes, honestly.
So activity has picked up significantly in my current residence, so that's been fun.
Oh.
Last week, was it last week? I don't know. Every day is just it's all one day.
Honestly, your current residence like scares the fuck out of me. For being honest.
Current residence. I don't want to be like dramatic when I say this, but like I don't know how else to describe like what the fuck I saw like a week ago.
Oh fuck, do I want to know? I gotta sleep tonight.
Gage is here, you're fine.
It's true.
I have to sleep alone. Steven's pretty nice until like March.
Oh, I'm sorry, girl. I know.
Kind of okay. Like, I mean, it sucks. Like, it sucks. I like it when he's home, but like, and he was like, well, it'll be fine because now you get the whole bed to yourself. We have 140 pounds worth of dog.
True. You're like, not exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice because at least the big boy gets to sleep with us still, but like,
yeah.
oh my god.
Yeah.
Because like, I mean, you know, it works. I mean, it just sucks, but it's weird. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird, and I think it'll be better like when we do have our own place. But anyway, so. I just feel like I'm gonna sound like a fucking titty baby dramatic.
Titty baby?
Yeah.
Well, I definitely want to hear it now.
Alright,
so
like, it was like, I can't remember. I think it was 2 separate incidents in the same day.
Fuck.
But there was like a fucking like, I don't know why I'm like, it's hard to say it out loud. There was an orb, a black ass orb.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's so weird because like when you think of an orb, you think of like
light.
Yeah.
No, it was just like a black like bloop. And I was like, Stevie was saying something, and I just like totally like he was like next to me, and I was like looking at him weird, and out of the corner of my eye I saw it, and I looked and it was just like boop, boop, boop. I'm like,
oh, you're like, fuck you, get out of here.
Hello. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, oh. And then I was just kind of tripping off. He's like, what? Like, but I have like really bad ADD, so I don't know if he like even noticed. But then I was like, I'm sorry. I was like, there was like, how did you not see that? Like, it was just like, hold up. And he was like, that's weird. And then it was later, because then I moved. Yes, it was a little bit. I moved to the other side of the table because, like, you know where most of the time you sit? Mm-hmm. It was, like, in the middle of the table.
Like, if we're being honest.
It was, like, in the middle. Like, it was, like, floating between, like, the table and, like, that light fixture. And so I, like, went over. Oh, my God. I was like, babe, fucking holy shit. I just saw a fucking orb. It was, like, a black, misty, weird fucking shit. And I was like, and I, like, was very animated because that's just me as a human.
Yeah.
And I, like, walked over, and I was like, it was, like, right here. And then I was, like, talking about it. I swear to God, I saw, like, somebody, like, a dark figure out of the corner of my eye. And I was like, fuck you! We're done! We gotta go.
I hate that.
I know, but I'm telling you, I've seen, like, a shadow person in my parents' house. Like, this is probably, like, the 4th time. Like, I remember a couple years ago, Aunt Mimi was over, and it was Mom, and we were in the living room because my dad was sleeping, and then I could have swore I heard the door open, and so I was looking to say, like, hi to my dad, because, you know, he usually, like, stumbles out, like,
yeah.
But, it wasn't my dad that came out of the bedroom, it was a shadow figure that went in the bedroom.
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh, fuck. And then, like, literally, like, less than 30 seconds after that shadow figure went in the bedroom, my
your dad came out.
I
Ugh.
was like, oh, shit.
I won't lie, though. Like, when I'm at your house, I feel like a pull to just stare into that farthest back room.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
well, that's like, because I lived in that room. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah, because I remember your obsession with Draco Malfoy, and I remember looking stuff up on the internet about, and then Homestar, the marshmallow guy.
Homestar Runner. Oh my God, he's so funny. But that was because I slept in that room though. Like, when we first moved in, I didn't stay in there for very long. Like, for my 13th birthday, because it was my golden birthday, they did the bedroom for me. But it was so fucking weird. Like, it was so weird. And, like, the weirdest part was, like, I don't even, like, know how to, like, describe it. But, like, there would be, like, kids at school who would be like, your house is fucking haunted. And, like, I'm like, oh, I know. Like, and it would be, like, kids that, like, didn't, like, they were, like, my friends, but they weren't, like, my come over and hang out friends.
Yeah.
They were, like, just, like my school guy friends. Like, they never came over. I was so lame. But, like, my one friend who lived down the street, she'd be like, yeah, your house is, like...
like...
Yeah. I live there. But, like, it's so weird because, like... And, okay, so it's super weird. I just don't know if I did that. Stevie wants us to get a haunted house.
I know, and honestly, like,
but, like,
good for content, but bad for mental health.
But, like, I feel like I handle it very well.
I don't.
Yeah.
I told you about falling asleep with a fucking frying pan in the bed with me.
Honestly, like, what I do that's made me feel better in the past, because, like, I feel like everywhere I've lived, minus, like, one or two places, I've experienced shit there. And, like, I feel like it's weird when I say that, because people are like, oh, wow, you're just, like, looking. Or, like, you're just, like, everything is paranormal. Like, no, like, I would be the first person to say, oh, no, that was this. Or, like, oh, see, like, I try to rationalize everything. And I think that might be my husband's issue.
Yeah.
Because he's like, oh, I've never seen anything. Like, nothing ever happens. And I'm like, look, like the other night, we were in bed. Granted, I have pareidolia so bad, so fucking bad, and I think that's why I was terrified of everything as a child. Probably, yeah. And there was, like, somebody was in our room, like, there was somebody, like, just chilling. I'm like, babe, right fucking there, like, do you see him? Like, he's just, like, hanging out, and he's like, let me turn on the light, like, because he knows that I see shit. Like, pareidolia wise, not like and he turned it on, and he's like, it was just this. I'm like, turn it back off. And I was like, no, he's right fucking there. So, I don't know.
I hate that. I hate everything about that. No.
But yeah, it's just life. I just,
For sure.
It's just, I don't know, you just get so used to it.
Yeah, I feel like there was a little bit, like, always discussed, like, when I was younger, the house that I lived in. And I feel like for a little bit there, I was just kind of so desensitized to it.
Oh, yeah.
But now that I'm older and I really realize more, I get freaked out more.
Oh, yeah. And I think that's, like, I'm glad that I'm just kind of, like, able to stay, like, level-headed about it, because, like, I do tend to blame a lot of my childhood fears and, like, the weird shit I saw on my pareidolia. Just because, obviously, this isn't diagnosed. I feel like we've talked about this in the past, but, like, the shit that I see, it can't not be pareidolia. Like, the fucking pipe coming from, like, the whatever, the heater, the water thing, like, it looks like a little face. And I'm like, post the fuck up, bitch. Like, like, it's something that I see all the time. And then, like, I'll sit in, like, a restroom and, like, the texture tile, like, oh, look, and there's, like, a dog, there's a guy with the flat top, and I just see it, and I make little friends, and I try to look for them every time I go. So I always go to the same stalls.
I hate that.
It's not scary.
It sounds like it'd be scary.
No, it's not. It's not. Like...
Okay, well, you see, like, not just, like, faces.
No, I see, like I said, like, there's a spot at work where I go, like, in the restroom, because I always try to go to the same stall, and there's a little Scotty dog.
No.
So, like, I always try to find him. So it's like, oh, hi, buddy. Like, okay, I feel like... I don't know how to describe it, because people probably think I'm just, like, seeing a fucking dog. Like, it's not like I'm seeing, like, a physical, like, 3-dimensional dog. No. Like, it's just, like, if someone drew an outline of a Scotty dog, and, like...
Yeah, or, like, when you see stuff in the clouds.
Yeah. Yes. That is it. That is exactly it. But it's in everything. Yeah. Everything. Like, wood grain, that's super fun.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's so much fun. There's somewhere, I think it's at the place that I lived before here. There's a leopard on the ceiling, and I like to look at it before I went to sleep. And then I was talking to Stevie. I was like, oh my god, there's a leopard up there. He's like, what the fuck? I think he thought I was being stupid, because, like, my, like, jokes and pranks are, like, just dumb. Like, when I was little, I'd be like, there's a frog on your head. April Fools. So, like, he's like, cool. And I was like, no, lay down right here. I'm going to show you the leopard. And I kind of had to, like, draw it out. He's like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I see that.
That's great. He just indulges me, and I feel like it's a problem. Oh, my God. But, yeah, so, you know, there's updates.
Hell yeah.
Oh, wait, there's another thing that happened. I forgot.
Oh, God.
I was in the shower.
Ugh.
This is the first time it's happened, like, in the shower, so I feel a little, like, violated.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, like, it's so hard because, like, so my hair was wet, and, like, I swear it felt like somebody, like,
brushed it.
Like, almost, not even, like, kind of, like, moved it out of my way. Which I don't want to, like, say is, like, paranormal. It could just be, like, water pressure.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that it could be, but I was like,
no thanks.
And then, like, I think a couple days later, I had a baby gate up and it, like, fell. But there was, like, not, like, the dogs or anything. It just was, like, bloop. Like, fuck you. So,
yeah.
it's just haunted as fuck. It's old as hell.
Yeah.
But
I've always found it kind of creepy. Like, even when I was, like, young.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't know how to, like...
It's got vibes.
Verbalize that, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, no, it's that far back. Just, like, everything in that back hallway, like... I feel drawn to stare back there, and I'm like, there's something in me that says, like, don't look back. That right. You don't want to do that.
But, like, honestly, like, that's where you see a lot of stuff. But I feel the same way, like, whenever I go to your grandpa's house, like, the bathroom.
The bathroom. I
agree. Don't look in the mirror. Don't look in the mirror.
Oh, yeah, I agree. And that whole fucking... Because they...
It's just a big-ass mirror.
Yeah, because the closet's a mirror. Like, the door is a mirror. So...
And the weirdest thing is, a lot of the time when I have gone in there, it's almost always open.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if, like, they get, like, the same vibes.
I know, right? Oh, I wouldn't.
Oh, really? Well, we were going to record with her.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah.
I remember. So we'll just, like...
Yeah.
Like, why is your bathroom?
I just, like, I don't look up. Like, if I'm going to the bathroom, I don't look up
like,
into
you
it.
You have to, like, honestly, like, I don't know what it is, but it's always, like, don't look in the mirror, don't look in the mirror, don't look in the mirror.
Yeah.
It's strange.
I know.
It's just odd.
Yeah. Or, like, when you're washing your hands, I don't look
up.
Oh,
I know.
It's, like, that one.
Yes.
It's the wooden one.
Oh,
yeah.
yes. Oh, yes. I feel more comfortable looking at, like, the big-ass mirror that's, like, literally, like, you just watch yourself take a shit.
Yeah.
But, like, the
I'm glad I'm not the only one because I've never had anyone else, like...
What was it when we were sitting
when we saw
there?
The orb, the light, yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy. So, it's nuts, so it's crazy. It's just crazy. I think, so we're almost half an hour in.
And we haven't even gotten to
the
topic.
So guys, like, this is just the anticipation you've been waiting for, let me tell you.
Yes.
So today's episode, we really wanted to discuss black-eyed kids. They're scary.
They are scary. And, like... So, I gotta be honest, I do a lot of my research for all of these topics in my car.
Oh, that's cute.
Because, like...
Oh, that's horrible, though, for this topic.
Kind of.
Okay.
I just feel more comfortable doing it not in my sanctuary.
I was gonna say, I feel like it's like a neutral location.
Exactly.
So, like, I just do it at my parents' house.
Yeah, for sure. There's already shit that...
I know, it's already haunted as fuck, but it doesn't matter. But, so this is one of those things, like, when I first heard about it, like, it scared me.
Oh, same.
Like,
honestly, like, very Tulpa-like. I feel like I don't want to think about it because,
But it's also one of those things. I remember distinctly, like, my first apartment, like, not on campus, like, my first, like, actual apartment, I think was one of the first times I heard about black-eyed kids. Like, I've always been into the paranormal, but I think, like, then was kind of when I really, like, branched off into my own, because I realized there's this, like, whole world of, like, stuff.
Yeah.
And I was just sitting there, I was like, what would I do if, like, a black-eyed kid, like, just came and, like, knocked at my fucking door?
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, I ain't afraid to fucking drop kick.
No.
Like, a child. Like,
yeah.
But it freaks me out.
Oh, yeah.
Just, like, the concept of it, like...
Yeah, and honestly, while I was doing research for this, I went through this whole, like, discussion in my head about how I need to train Gage on how to deal with the black... Because I'm like, this motherfucker open the door, start yelling at him.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
be like, you fucking kid.
Yeah, exactly. He'd be like the grumpy old man that's
right. Well,
Yeah.
I've met him before.
But yeah, so no, I have to have this discussion with Gage. Like, if this ever happens,
Right.
this is how you deal with it.
Yeah, and I didn't even think about talking to Stevie about it. I'm like, okay, like now I need to be like, okay, if you ever see like a kid with like just straight up like black eyes, like
Yeah.
nothing, like just like shut the door, walk away.
Yeah, lock it
100 times.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
But I guess like that, just I mean, black-eyed, like the description fits itself.
Yeah.
Like the eyes are black, like
the whole sclera. Yeah.
The whole eyeball, and like it seems like the way they talk and the way they dress it seems out of place.
Yeah, and they're very like emotionless.
Yeah, it's very monotonous, like in the way they speak and like the way they deliver, like everything. They just like it's just odd. It's just very strange.
Yeah,
like I even have that written down. And then some people, just in my research, some people actually think that they are like demons.
Yeah, I've heard vampire, demons, extraterrestrial, which that honestly resonates with me the most.
Because, I mean, if you think about it, like, which we should do something on aliens soon, but like a lot of people say there's hybrids.
Yes.
So,
like the grays and everything.
Think that, well, like when they breed with humans.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So, like, that kind of, like, that theory is, like, maybe this is, like, their alien baby, and they're like, Papa.
Oh, for sure.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm thank God, fuck.
Yeah.
But, and then some people can kind of, like, try to write it off, like, it's, like, sclera contact lenses.
Yeah.
But, like, there's no, like, it's just pitch black. It's like if you took a picture of yourself and just colored your eyeball black, like that's what it is. Like there's no lines.
Exactly.
It's just straight up black.
Well, and I think that's kind of what makes it so creepy is the uncanny valley kind of thing of it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, because it's like there's supposed to be, very human-like.
But like that's something that's very... So they knock on like your house door, car door, whatever. Even like windows, I've heard.
Yeah. Oh.
And they ask like when you acknowledge them in like whatever capacity, they ask to be let in. Usually saying they need to like call their parent or like they're cold or hurt.
Yeah.
And most people, at least in the accounts that I've kind of researched, read, whatever. Most people seem to have like a really strong like dread and fear with any of these encounters, which is strange because like when you see a child typically you just want to help it.
Yes,
like, oh
exactly.
My God, like,
you go into nurture mode.
Exactly. So these stories seem like they started to gain popularity in the early 90s with those like early internet forums. Yeah. But the internet, was I mean, realistically, just becoming readily available to everyone.
Exactly.
So it could have been very well happening way before this.
Yeah.
But when someone, like the first post that they kind of recognize, which, like I said, it's hard to say if it was the first. Like the internet is very expansive, so I don't want to just say like this person was the first person.
Yeah.
But once somebody posted that initial story, like a ton of people came out. Yeah. And like we said, it's likely that it's been happening for like a long time. But you can't exactly pinpoint stuff like that, especially when it's somebody's personal experience.
Exactly, yeah.
Like, I mean, the internet, we have tons of documented, written history, quote unquote.
And it's easier to come in contact with strangers.
All you have to do is like type in whatever and it just pops right up.
Yeah.
Whereas like, pre-internet, like stuff like this, you're not really gonna be able to access.
Yeah.
Like at all.
For sure. Yeah. I actually got a lot of, I'd say a lot, but I got one story. There's a book that I found on, on Audible. It's by G. Michael, and I'm hoping I'm saying it right, Vasey.
Okay.
Yeah, he has a website called myhauntedlife.com.
Ooh.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
And
guess who's going down the rabbit hole tonight?
But this book is basically stories from that, all about black-eyed kids, and it's actually...
Is it like a collection of stories, or is it all his?
It's a collection of stories, yes.
Oh, that would be a creepy, teepy one to listen to.
Yeah, so the name of the book...
the cover is gross.
I know. The Chilling True Terror of the Black-Eyed Kids by G. Michael Vasey.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay, so have you been listening to it?
I have been listening to it. Like I said, I did take one of my stories from it. Mm-hmm. It's only about 4 hours long,
That's
so
not
it's
horrible.
no.
So it'd be a really quick read.
Yeah, it's actually the only book, at least on Audible, that I could find
really
about this topic. Yeah.
I mean, I just feel like a lot of the topics in the paranormal are really hard to come across, like books, and even so, like most of it's like based on accounts.
Yes.
So you can't even like actually research topics.
Exactly.
Like, by like, you know, like articles, like reputable sources, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Because I mean, let's face it, like, I mean, some people wouldn't call me a reputable source, but like, I know what I've seen. I'm a skeptical believer, but I still, like, I see shit.
Exactly. Yeah. And I found that a lot with this specific topic is there's not really resources out there.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like a cited article.
Exactly.
But before we jump into stories, I did read up that there are some people, you know, I don't, to the extent, obviously we don't know, but they've actually experienced medical issues after their experiences with these children. I just have like 4 that were prominent. I mean, if you could call it that, it's hard, you know, things are just hard to kind of say, but the things that have happened were weight loss, autoimmune disorders, nutritional deficiencies, and then hyperthyroidism, which is weird. Yeah,
so when we originally planned to do this topic months ago, I had a bunch of sources, and I had like a good amount of notes, and I could not find them, and I couldn't find the exact stories. But I specifically remember one story where there was a cat that really did not like these kids that wanted in this home, and like the kids like acknowledged that the cat was like being shitty towards them. And soon after this encounter, the cat died of cancer.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I feel like I might have read that too. I don't know if I have that particular story written down, but like, side note, isn't it weird how like when you do certain topics, and I don't know if this has happened to you because like we've only recorded so many episodes together, but like when you do certain topics or like talk about certain things even just for a second, shit happens.
Yes.
Like,
that's part of the reason why I do everything in my car.
Honestly, that's probably a really good idea. I've done a lot of it at work. But like, for instance, it might have been my second episode where I did that encounter with the demon, this almost lifelong encounter with the demon. The whole entire time I was recording, I was terrified. It could have been because I was recording in the attic, but it wasn't like a gross attic. It was a finished attic. Like, it was nice. Like, it was somebody's bedroom at one point. Yeah. So it wasn't even like that. And then one of my sheets, actually, the only page that I had her account, I guess I'm assuming it's female. She is female. Yeah. The information was to be disclosed to me, and I cannot assume if it was a man or a woman. I just assume it was a woman. Yeah. So my apologies if you're listening and you are a man. From the context. Yeah. My apologies. Either way. But, because whenever everybody emails it to me, I kind of go through it and, like, kind of type it out. And, like, make, like, corrections and kind of, like, make it flow a little bit better so it's easier to read. That whole entire story, her story, gone. Just gone? And I hard fucking printed it out. Really? Yes, I typed it up, physically printed it out, and I had all my notes, and I was like, okay, like, here we go. And when I got to hers, I was, like, flipping through all my papers, like, where the fuck is it? So then I had to stop, like, I had to read off the email. Wow. Because I did not have this paper. Damn. So, like, I mean, realistically, that's been the only, like, major thing, but, like, to me, out of all the stories that I have done, that one is terrifying. Oh, yeah, I remember listening to it. Like, I was actually at the gym listening to it. I can remember it. Like, I felt like I just felt like I really had to have, like, a trigger warning with that, because, like, that was a horrifying fucking experience. Yeah, for sure. Like, Jesus, I can't imagine.
Yeah.
And I feel like with that type of thing, when you acknowledge it and give it power, like it almost like comes to you.
Yeah.
So it was kind of hard to record.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, and somewhat related to that, there is a podcast that we've actually discussed before because they do like some prayer that we really don't think they should do.
Yeah.
They also recently got me with, they tell the story of this entity, and then at the end tell you that if you hear the story, it's supposed to be more likely to
appear.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Why would you?
I don't know. I feel like some people are irresponsible. Like, whether you believe or not, a lot of people do.
Yeah.
And I feel like you need to put some sort of disclaimer like, hey, this is what could happen if you could hear this. So we're going to give you
fair warning.
Fast forward, like, do what you need to do. Start back up at marker 5 or whatever. Like...
Exactly.
And I just, like, because, like, I'm superstitious in that sense. Like,
Same.
Even if I know, like fictional movies are just like, oh my god, like, this movie is cursed, or like something. Like,
yeah, I'm not gonna watch it. Exactly. I'm not.
Like, I know that sounds childish, but, like,
I just don't play games.
I'm not fucking messing around with that shit.
No.
That's just me. And so I feel like that's very irresponsible of them on more than one thing right now, because, like, that prayer, like we've said before, like, I feel like unless you are properly trained in certain ways of protection, you should not use that.
Yeah,
unless,
exactly.
Like, I don't know. It just sucks because, like, there's a lot of things that I do want to do. Like, I would love to just smudge, especially my parents' house. But, like, I feel like if I mess it up, even though I've read how to do it, exactly how to do it. Like, what if I mess it up and, like, make it a portal or something?
Yeah, I know. I've thought about it. Yeah.
It's just one of those things. But I have used, like, crystals in the past, and it's actually worked.
Yeah.
Well. And it worked for a friend, so.
Well, that's good.
I can't remember what it looks like. Pencil lead.
Oh, okay.
It's like really jagged too.
Okay.
I don't remember. This was years ago.
I almost said graphite. That is pencil lead.
I mean, it looks a lot like it, but so just beware, everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, just be smart about it.
Be responsible.
Exactly, and, like, if you have friends in, like, a particular, like, religion or culture who have means of, like, the way that they protect their homes, or by all means, like, I think that's totally acceptable, because you have somebody of that culture or of that religion to, like, either do it for you or guide you. Because, like, I don't know, I just feel I love cultures. I love to learn about new cultures.
Oh, same, yeah.
I find it so interesting, but I also think that it's irresponsible of me to, like, do it.
Yeah.
Without really, like, just because I read something doesn't make me an expert.
Yeah, you don't have the, like, years and years of passing it down.
You don't have, exactly. That's exactly it. But should we move on to
our definitely.
Story? Here's our first story regarding black-eyed kids. So, a man in Texas, he just ran to the store, and he was bringing his groceries back into the house. Mind you, it's a very open area, so no one can really, like, hide or sneak up on them. As he opens the door to go inside, he gets startled by a young boy standing next to, like, the 3 steps leading up to the door. The man's shocked because this kid seems to have appeared out of just nowhere. And not to mention it's a random-ass kid.
Yeah, like...
The boy just, like, looks at him and says, "Is it food time?"
What the fuck?
So the man has no idea how to react. He's just kind of, like, locked up. He's like, what the... Since the door is open, he hears his pit bull. Mind you, this particular pit... It's a trained attack. So it's a trained attack dog. So, like, he
starts
reacts,
guarding his home,
Exactly. Well, like any dog would, realistically. Like, friendly or not, like, to a certain degree, a dog's gonna go to fucking bad.
Exactly, yeah.
Perspective, which we kind of just saw. I have a pit mix who's 85 pounds. Like, he's huge. Like,
chunky boy.
He's so chunky. But, like, they aren't small dogs. Like, even, like, the smaller, like, the dog, they're just fucking... They're built. They're jacked.
Oh, yeah.
Even, like, the shorter ones are at least 60, 70 pounds. Like, they're big dogs. But again, so kind of trailing back, This trained attack dog is like losing his fucking mind. Like he's barking, he's growling, and he is like barreling through the house to protect Dad. Like he's like, I fucking got you, bro. Like he's in attack mode up until he gets close to the door. When he sees this child, he slams the puppy brakes and like he fucking Scooby-Doo style backpedals, like whimpering and whining and just running back into the house. Like,
damn.
Yes.
What the fuck?
He's obviously terrified, and like the man, he's like, I've never like this is a trained attack dog. I've never seen that.
Yeah.
Like, because they're held. Like I know several people. I don't really know people with like attack dogs, but like trained dogs, like they have a job, and like they aren't satisfied until like they do that job. Yeah,
for sure.
Witness, we'll just say this man in Texas. I don't know his name. He even stated that this dog had killed rattlesnakes for fun. Like, so it wasn't like he was a tough dude.
Yeah.
Like,
for sure.
What the fuck ever. But the reaction scared the man so much that he slammed and locked the door. Like no matter who it is outside, child or big fucking burly man, if my dog
acts like that,
hell no. But when he went into he went into the house, doors locked. He went to check on the boy, and he was already gone.
Oh, wow.
And it was also said that the boy talked to him through the entire thing, saying that it's food time and you should let me in. So, like, this whole entire dog fiasco, like, him trying to figure out what's going on, he was just saying, like, weird-ass shit. Like, is it food time? You should let me in. Like,
yeah. Well, and I do find that to be the whole, like, the kid just appearing and disappearing out of nowhere. That seems to be super common.
It is so common because, like, I don't even know if there's any accounts of people, like, seeing them, like, walk away. Yeah. Like, because you'd think, like, if it was a situation where, like, there was, like, an actual child who came, knocked on my door and was like, can you help me? But, like, I freaked out. Like, you'd think, like, if you opened your blinds, he'd be next door.
Yeah, exactly.
Or across the street. Or, like, whatever. But,
yeah.
No. So, instead of reacting like a normal person would have acted with a dog, like, literally, like, barreling towards them, like, this little fucker just smiled and kept repeating those weird-ass phrases.
I hate that.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Yeah, so, like, he just fucking knew. And then I guess, so the puppy doggy, he was fucking scared. Like, he hid under the bed, like, for days.
Poor baby.
And, like, ever since this happened, he has not been the same dog.
Oh.
So.
Poor baby.
Isn't that horrible?
That
like,
is.
Something, like, fucked him up, like, that much that he wasn't even, like, in necessarily, like, contact with, like, directly.
Yeah.
That, I mean, like, dogs are a lot like people. I feel
they're
like
very
their
sensitive.
psyche is even more fragile than ours to an extent, but, like...
Yeah,
holy shit.
Especially, like, a trained dog.
A trained ass, like, a working dog's a working dog. Like,
exactly.
Like, that's, like, their drive.
Yeah, that's their thing, their will to live, basically.
Yeah, exactly. I mean...
yeah.
That's just what... But he just... I guess now he's just this big, like, scaredy baby.
Yeah. Poor baby.
I know. It makes you so sad. And, like, that poor guy... Who's like, I mean, getting a trained animal is, like, expensive.
Oh, yeah, right.
Like, even if you just buy the dog, the training's probably, like, a solid, like, 10 grand.
Oh, for sure.
Probably more.
So, this story was one of the ones, well, the one that I took from that book.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So, I just labeled it as USAF encounter.
Oh.
Yes. I'm in the USAF, and I live on base. I never encountered anything strange until this happened. I was on base one weekend, and almost everyone else was home, either drinking, sleeping, or on duty. I had only stayed that weekend because I had spent all my money. I was on my bunk watching a movie when I had heard a knock at my door.
Okay.
I thought it was my roommate. When I had opened it, instead of a roommate, I had found 2 kids standing on the walkway. Only these kids freaked the hell out of me. I don't know what it was about them, but we were always told just to listen to what's inside because it might save your life. Right then, the voice inside of me was screaming to shut the door and lock those kids out.
Oh.
Yeah. There was also a telltale sign that these kids had pitch black eyes. I mean, there was absolutely no white to them or any other color, just pure black. I asked them what they were doing here at this time at night. One of them answered it was cold out and they wanted to come in to read.
Oh, ew.
I know. I'd never met a kid that wanted to come in to read. And I knew for a fact that they didn't belong on this space. They didn't mention any parents, any broken down cars, or even how they managed to get this far on base. I mean, this is a military base.
I mean, like, I have a lot of experience with military bases.
Yeah.
Like, you have to have, like, ID. Like, you have to, like... And even, like, as when I was younger, I just had to have my ID.
Yeah.
But, like, as an adult, like, I have to have an ID. I have to go in, show them my ID before they will even let me in the first time. I have to have a pass for every time I go on base.
Exactly.
Or at least a pass that shows, like, I'm here from this day to this day. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's no getting around it.
No, it is fucking tight.
Yeah. There was nothing sincere about these kids. They were playing a game. It was at this point that I noticed that I could not drag my eyes away from theirs. It felt like I was being sucked in. It absolutely felt horrendous, as though my life was being dragged from my body screaming. They just stood there with their mouths closed, their eyes staring into mine with no emotion at all. I prayed for somebody else to come, but nobody did. I glanced around and the kids took a step forward and I took a step back and slammed the door shut. I felt as if I were in grave danger. Every warning bell was going off in my head. I stepped back and fell in my bunk, drained of energy. I heard soft knocking against my door for a few minutes, shuffling feet, and then nothing. The next morning, I went down and asked one of the officers on duty if he had seen the kids, and he hadn't. How did he get in? They get in. I have no idea. Where did they go? I have no idea. But if they can get into a military campus, they can get anywhere.
That's horrifying.
And that was submitted by D. Robbins on myhauntedlife.com.
Okay, and that's one thing that I just kind of remembered about, like, okay, so I don't know if you're familiar with vampire lore.
Somewhat.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know, like, so a vampire can only come into your home if it is invited in.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of, like, very reminiscent of, like, that type of thing.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just, nobody knows what they are.
No, and I do feel like a lot of people say that they communicate telepathically, but you don't realize until the encounter is done. Like, you think this child is talking to you, then you realize they never open their mouth.
And, like, okay, could you imagine seeing that, like, if you're just walking down the road and, like, you just see these kids standing in front of the store with, like, this person just, like, staring at each other is what it's going to, like, translate to. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, right? I didn't even think about that.
Oh. It's just horrifying.
It is. And a lot of, well, you'll see in another story that a lot of the times they don't take no for an answer.
Yeah, and they're very persistent.
They're very
and they
persistent.
will pretty much stand there until you, like, slam the door in their face.
Yeah.
But I feel like they can't come in without you saying yes. Come in. Ooh.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I think this is a story regarding a photographer from Australia.
Ooh.
So, I mean, it's not just in the U.S.
Okay,
I feel like a lot of the stories that we hear are based in the U.S., but we're also from here.
Yeah.
So, well. But she was setting up to take pictures of some scenery about 2 hours outside of Melbourne. And a kid just seemingly pops up out of nowhere. Only a few feet away from her, and this child was in turn-of-the-century clothing with, like... Ooh. And this child also had the typical solid black eyes, pale skin, and this motherfucker says... We don't like image takers.
What the yeah. Like pictures?
Like, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like, we don't like people that take pictures. We don't like people taking pictures of us.
Damn, okay.
Which, like, one of the creepiest aspects of this particular encounter was the use of the words. And, like, she was also alone.
Alone, yeah.
And 2 hours away from, like, from what... I've never been to Australia, but from what I've heard, it's, like... City, little town, nothing.
Yeah.
For hours.
Yeah.
And she's...
Like, where the fuck do you come from?
Like, I mean, I don't know this to be fact, but, like, from what I understand, like, she might not be fucking anywhere. Yeah. 2 hours from a city.
Yeah. Ugh. And I think that's, like... you feel more vulnerable at that point.
Yeah,
You know what
exactly.
I mean?
Because
Like,
you are isolated. Like, you are alone. You are alone.
for sure. I just,
And so, obviously, she was fucking terrified, and she just got her shit, threw it in her car, and zipped the fuck off.
hell yeah.
And she made the 2-hour drive in an hour and a half. That's how scared she was.
I don't blame her at all.
I know. Once she gets home, she hears a strange sound coming from her bedroom. After she gathers herself, she realizes the sound is tapping on glass. So she slowly makes her way to the room and notices a pair of black eyes staring at her through a crack in her open window.
I hate that.
And those eyes belong to the black-eyed kid she ran into 2 hours earlier.
I hate that.
In a panic, she locked herself in a room, and she told her boyfriend he needed to get the fuck over there, like, now.
I'd be like, stay the fuck away. There's something outside.
See, I don't know. Like, she's alone.
I get that, but... Like, if I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die. You know what I mean? Like,
theory. That's a good point. And I guess you don't want... But you can die together.
True.
I'm a terrible person. So when he finally got to the house, he saw nothing. Not even... not a sign. Nothing. Like, and the creepiest part was that the bedroom window was closed. Yeah.
I don't like that. That makes me feel uncomfy.
And then this is one of those experiences where she did feel sick for a year after this had happened.
God dang.
And it also took her several years to actually tell her story. And when she finally did, she was like shaking.
Yeah.
So like that's just, and I mean like her experience, like when we tell it, it's just not as bad. It's like, it's scary.
Yeah.
But like, could you put yourself in this person's shoes?
I couldn't, no.
Like, you're in the middle of butt fuck nowhere.
I would have a mental break.
Yeah.
I would.
And she suffered from health issues. I don't know exactly to what extent, but like, a whole ass year?
I know. Like, that's powerful. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
that's like some nasty shit that you don't want to mess with.
Yeah. Especially like you were saying, didn't have any like actual, well, I guess outside they had one interaction.
Yeah, but it wasn't even like, I mean, it's just, I think the worst part of that is, so she's 2 hours away in what we assume is like the middle of nowhere. He can't even ask to be like, let me in. Yeah. He just comes up to this girl and he's like, we don't like image takers. Yeah. And then she gets to her house in an hour and a half and he's fucking there.
Yeah, see, I don't know if I would go home. Like,
I don't know where I would go. I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, because like you said, your home is your sanctuary. Yeah. And it's where you're going to feel the most safe.
But I feel like if I knew I would be alone, I don't know if I would. Well, but that's what I say now. That's
true. But in that same token, it does say that she had that boyfriend, so I would have been like, calm and be like, hey, I'm coming over. Like, I'm staying with you. I don't have any of my clothes. Like, I don't care. Like, exactly. I just need to feel safe.
For sure. Well, and then also, how did it know where she lived? Yeah.
There's so much. There's just so much.
Yeah.
Like, because, I mean, if it's a kid, it's not like it's going to just hop in a car and drive. And even if it did, like, she drove an hour and a half. She's looking fucking behind her. Like, let's face it, anytime you get freaked out when you're driving, you're constantly looking behind you. Yeah. And she never mentioned anything about, like, a car following her. Or, like, and this kid just fucking shows up out of nowhere. Yeah. Ugh. Like, I mean, even if someone's like, well, maybe you took a bus. Do you know how long I would take a bus? Like, a 2-hour bus is more like a 4-hour bus. Like, like a 2-hour train? Yeah. Shit. Like, I mean, let's face it. Like, what? Milwaukee's, like, an hour and a half, 2 hours outside of Chicago. Yeah. It's a 3-hour train ride. Oh, yeah. Like, it's not fast. No. So.
Man, that kid's fucking dedicated.
But then, like, what if it's, like, not of this plane, and like he like shoots it, but it just like goes into like the ground or some shit. Like it just like goes through like misty, like they're not like they're solid, but they're just well.
I hate that.
Well, I mean, I don't think anybody's ever
tried to
like attack them.
I feel like you'd have to be insane too, if I'm being
honest.
honest.
I think you'd have to be a strong, like, mentally. You'd have to be, like, insanely strong, because a lot of people, from what I've noticed, it seems like they want, like, are almost wanting to, like, give in. Like, they find that they almost...
Yes, or, like, another story that I was reading, like, they found that, like, their hand was moving towards the lock when they weren't, and, like, someone had to snap them out of it.
Right, exactly. So it's, like, and I think, like, that's kind of part of the thing, because, like, they probably know that, like, a normal person, like, under any other circumstance would be, like, fighting.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know to what extent, but, like, so, like, what, I just don't think they're, like, of this, like, dimension, so to speak. Like,
for sure.
I don't know. It's fucked.
Yeah, no, I just, like, hate, because... kids are so creepy. Like, honestly, there's something, like, about children in general. Scary. Like, when it comes to these kind of things.
Or just when they just say things.
I know.
Like, in general. Not even just like their existence is horrible.
I know, right? Fuck. This one is another kind of long one. Let's see if it's actually long. But I took this one off of Thought Catalog. Okay, so this one's just titled Halloween, and it's from Thought Catalog. And the reader starts off with, like, a little preface saying, "This is so funny. I'd never heard of BEKs before my incident, so I come on here to post my story, and the first story I see is about a BEK. Weird.
Oh.
Let me preface this by saying I'm by no means a writer, just a domestic engineer living in North Texas," which I need to bring up. How many are from Texas? I was gonna say which is close to Roswell. You know what I mean?
Oh, well, Texas is fucking huge.
True.
But even, like, my first story was from Texas. Like, so,
and the main story is...
Texas is definitely reoccurring, and the Roswell thing makes sense, but we also need to take into consideration that Texas is fucking huge. So it really does depend on location. Like, I think, like, that's something that we kind of need to keep in mind. But then again, like, from my experience of Texas, it's, like, towns, and then nothing. Yeah. And then, like, town, and then nothing. So, like, it could... have something to do with it. I think because it is so huge, it's not like, I mean, it's populated, but, like, it's not, like, as densely populated as, like, here. Exactly,
for sure.
Sorry.
No, you're good, but no, I had to point that out because I did notice that Texas is, like, recurring in all of these stories that I'm reading.
Yes, and, like, Australia, the same thing. Lots of openness. Space.
Yeah. Okay. I'm by no means a writer, just a domestic engineer living in North Texas.
I just love that word.
Also, I don't believe in the paranormal.
Okay.
Ghosts, demons, aliens, whatever. However, I did have an event happen to me this Halloween. I have to admit, it has me scratching my head. This is my first post, and sorry, I'd say I've never heard about it until yesterday. I told my best friend about the incident, and she's an avid reader of No Sleep, and she told me if I didn't post it, she would. So here I am. Anyway, hope you like. So it had been a slow trick-or-treat night in our neighborhood that evening, which is pretty odd in itself. We usually have kids in from different areas dropped off in ours and have constant parades at our door. That night, I'd say we'd have no more than 8 or 10 groups of kids come by the entire night. It was about 9:30. We hadn't had any activity at the door in over half an hour, and it was getting late. So we decided to turn the porch light off, and let our... Sorry, that was just a typo, and I'm not sure if it's supposed to be off or on. And let our dog Chloe out of her crate. Yep. Chloe is an American bulldog and is very docile. We only put her in her crate because we were afraid she'd try and get out to play with all the kids. And I didn't want to have to chase her down the street. Also, we didn't want to scare any of the kids because she would look a little intimidating to the youngest kids. So I turned off the light and let Chloe out, and she followed me back to the couch to lay at my feet. It was getting close to 10 p.m. when my husband decided he'd had enough fun for the night and was going to go up the stairs, take a shower, and get ready for bed. After all, it was Thursday, and he still had to get up early for the next day. My teenage son was out with his friends at a local haunted house and wasn't expected back for another hour or so. So that left me alone on the couch with Chloe. Now, just because I don't believe doesn't mean those shows don't freak me out a bit. And being alone now watching, I'd have to say I was kind of on edge, as it were. It wasn't long after I heard the upstairs water for the shower turn on when there came a light knock, knock, knock at the front door. My initial reaction was, what the hell, really? It's almost 10 o'clock, go home. But soon an uneasy feeling came over me. Why the knock? Our doorbell glows, and in the dark, without the porch light, it would be extra obvious to anyone there. I paused. I couldn't really just ignore it. Our front door has a big beveled glass panel, and anybody right at the door could see in to see someone was in the family room watching TV.
Get a new fucking door.
No kidding.
Gross. Sorry.
No. But listen to this. It would be pretty rude of me to just sit there and not answer it. I don't care about manners. Again from the door. I glanced down and Chloe was gone. My gaze followed her usual path to the front door, expecting her to be on her way there, as she normally does. Nothing. She wasn't there. I stood up to look around the room better and found her, crouching by the back door like she was wanting out. However, she never asks to go out like that. She always comes and licks my hand or puts her head on my knee. This was totally out of character, and I have to say heightened my anxiety. Chloe, crate, I said. She just turned back to look at me like, hell no, lady, I ain't moving.
That's rude.
I yelled up to my husband, but if he was already in the shower, I knew there was no chance of him hearing me. About that time, a car drove down our street and it cast just enough light on the door to where I could see the silhouettes of two small children through the glass.
Oh.
I instantly felt relief. It was just some kids, probably a couple of my neighbors on their way back home, that wanted to stop by and show me their costume or something. I headed to the door and looked back to make sure Chloe wasn't going to follow. What a great watchdog, I thought to myself as she just sat there. I turned on the porch light when I got to the door, and sure enough, I could see through the glass it was a couple of pretty small kids. A little late for such young ones, I thought, and I began to wonder about what kind of parents would let their kids run the streets that late at night. I only opened the door enough to where I could block Chloe's escape if she decided to grow some balls, which was only about 2 feet. But what struck me immediately as odd was the kids weren't wearing any costumes. They were in normal street clothes. Also, no customary trick-or-treat either. I began to feel very uneasy again. It was a girl and a boy. The girl to the left was older, I'd say about 11 or 12. I could tell she was blonde, but I couldn't make out any distinct features, as our lights are from high above and on columns at the front porch, so most of the light was coming from behind them. I had not opened the door wide enough for any light from the inside to hit them directly. The boy was younger and about a foot shorter. I'd say 8 or 9 and looked to have light brown hair. The girl very politely spoke up. Ma'am, can we please come inside and use your phone to call our mom? As she spoke, something in the pit of my stomach was telling me something was wrong. What kid, even at that age, doesn't have a cell phone of their own these days? I couldn't remember the last time I'd had anybody ask to use my phone. Hun, don't you have a phone of your own and you can call your mom on? I asked. This was when things really got weird. Both kids turned to look at one another like they were going to say something to one another, but neither ever spoke. They both turned back to me, and the girl said, Ma'am, my cell phone doesn't have any charge left in it. Can we please come inside and call our mothers? We're alone out here, and my brother is scared. I have to admit, there were two competing feelings going on inside of me. The first, that of a mother's heart that wanted to help these two small children get to their mom. The other, a sinking fear in my gut that was keeping the other feeling at bay. It was then I noticed that during the short conversation, I'd already opened the door an extra few inches, which I completely was unaware of. I stopped. Honey, why don't you give me your mother's number and I can call her myself? Another pause, and they again looked at one another. After a short moment, they turned back to me and said, Ma'am, my little brother has to use your bathroom. Can we please come inside while you call our mom? And with that last statement, the little girl moved closer towards the door like she was going to walk on in by me. As she did, she stepped into the light coming from inside the house, and I got my first real good look at her. Solid jet black eyes, that's all I could see. That motherly instinct was gone and replaced by terror I don't think I've ever felt in my life. I could feel every hair on my arms and my back and the back of my neck standing at attention. I closed the door to where just my face was able to stick out. The little girl stopped and again pleaded, Please, ma'am, we're really scared and alone out here. We have to come inside. Please help us. Then, like on cue, both kids began to whimper and cry.
Oh, what?
That's when the fear took over, and I shut and locked the door. I'll call your mom if you give me the number, I shouted through the door, but I'm not letting you in my house. I could still see them stand there on my porch, just staring at me through the beveled glass pane. Part of me wanted to run upstairs to my husband, but the bigger part didn't want to lose track of where they were. That would have freaked me out even more to not know where they were. After what seemed like forever, but probably only a few seconds, I decided I'd call my neighbor that lives across the street. As I made my way to the side of the table, by her couch to my phone, I glanced at the back door. Chloe was nowhere to be found. We later found her in the guest room under the bed. When I got to my phone and started to look for his contact info, it was only then the kids stepped away from the door and began to walk to the street. As they did, I walked to the door to get a better look to see where they went, still not calling my neighbor. If you get close enough to the glass, you can see out enough to make out people shapes, but you can't see much detail. Of course, standing that close to the door would make you pretty obvious to anyone looking in. From the door, I could see the kids were still standing under the street lamp nearest my house, staring at me. As I lifted the phone to my ear after calling, only then did the kids start walking down our street. I met my neighbor out under the lamp once he was out there, but the kids were nowhere to be seen. Like I said, I don't believe in any of this stuff, and never even heard about black-eyed kids before talking to my friend. What I have to think, is these kids were just out yanking people's chains on Halloween night. But I will say this for them. They were good. Really good. And it scared the shit out of me and my dog.
Oh my gosh.
Puppers.
Well, okay. So this is a recent story on Reddit, posted by user PenguinShark50. So this person said that in late August, he was just listening to some music in his car. He also said he was high, so.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I think it was marijuana, so.
I was going to say, I don't think that would really.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. Acid?
Yeah, maybe.
But, like, the trees.
Yeah.
And then he starts to feel like he's being watched. So, I mean, the paranoia. When he looks up, he sees a figure staring through his car window. This is also weird because he lives in the middle of nowhere. Oh. Once he sees his figure, it darts away and then comes back extremely fast. At this point, he notices the eyes and he says he's about 75% sure that they're just completely black. That being said, he threw his car in reverse and
ran that little motherfucker over.
and just floors it to his friend's house. When he backs up, he's 100% sure he hits this person. Nice,
I was right. Okay.
He is I hit somebody.
And I did not care. I put it in drive.
And he feels the car drive over the but when he finally comes back home, about an hour later, he sees no sign that anybody was even there, let alone somebody, he just ran somebody over, so.
Oh.
I mean.
I mean, I'd be glad.
I would be too, but like, I feel like an hour, that's a lot of time to, but like, how hard did you hit them? I don't know. It's hard. Rushing somebody over wouldn't.
I'm just like, what if it was just some poor fucking, like, just some kid.
Just some cracked out homeless guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it sucks because he does say he lived in the middle of nowhere. That would scare the shit out of me.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, like, think about some of the areas here.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah! Okay, well then I will continue with the Brian Bethel story.
Oh, I'm excited for this
OG,
one. Yeah.
Or supposed
OG, yeah.
Okay, so around 9:30 p.m., which it's 9:49, so it's fine now. 9:30, there's another thing, 9:30 in Texas.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's just kind of interesting, like the synchronicities.
Yes, that's one thing. I love synchronicities.
Only when they're not creepy.
Yeah, like that one.
Yeah.
But like still, like they're just like, I don't know, it's very intriguing to me. Mm-hmm. It just makes me feel like things, it's not just happens. Like I feel like things happen for a reason.
Yeah.
But around 9:30 p.m. in January 1998, Brian left his apartment in Texas to run to the drop box to pay his internet bill. He had to stop at the movie theater near the drop box to get some light to fill out the check. So,
yeah.
Which is weird that he wouldn't just fill it out before he left.
Yeah, right.
He's also a dude, so.
True.
No offense. No offense. As he was writing it up, he heard a knock on the window, and he looked up to see two boys. The first boy was taller than the second, and he had olive skin and medium-length brown hair, and he exuded confidence. While the second boy was very pale, with kind of like a trace of freckles, pale orange hair, and he seemed like nervous. Almost immediately, Brian felt a sense of fear, and he knew something wasn't right. Boy 1 told Brian that he wanted to see Mortal Kombat, but they forgot their money, and instead of asking Brian for money, they asked him to drive them to their house. Brian was obviously incredibly uneasy about the request, but Boy 1 was doing his best to coax Brian to give him a ride by saying things like, "Come on, mister, we just want to go to our house," or "We're just two little boys," which is, you know. Yeah,
I don't like that. That sounds grimy.
You're just two little boys.
Ew, I hate that.
It's just the way that I say it.
Yeah.
It's just the way that, somebody be like, "We're just two little boys." I'm just not good at it. I can't.
I hate that.
Sometimes. Ooh, and then he also, this kid, Boy 1, also says things like, "We can't get into your car until you do. And just let us in and we'll be gone before you know it." Or "We'll just go to our mother's house." And then with all of this coaxing, Brian found himself unlocking the door without even realizing it. And as if he was instructed to do so. After catching himself, he finally gets a better look at the two boys, and that's when he realizes that their eyes are entirely black.
Yeah.
Because, I feel like it's almost scarier to experience this, in a public setting.
Yeah, because that shows that, they're not restricted. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're not just, it's not like they are bound to certain areas.
Yeah.
It just, I don't know. I feel like either way, it's not fun.
Yeah.
But I just feel like in instances where they are seen in public, it almost makes it more uneasy because, for the most part, as, a person, you feel safe most of the time.
Yeah.
There are going to be certain situations where you don't, but, I mean, just running to you go pay a bill.
Yeah.
You're not oh my God.
And how do you can't react, you know what I mean? You can't.
Yeah, in public you can't just, shut your door.
Uh-huh.
Or call the cops. Or, I mean, you could call the cops, but by the time they get there, these people could be gone. They're just, it's just...
Yeah, you can't just scream, "These kids have black eyes!"
Fucking kids! You call the cops. I'm just "There's two boys, and they're asking me to take them
to their mom's house."
And the cops "Okay."
Be a good Samaritan.
Cool story, bro. Like, what a dick.
Fucking asshole.
Damn, just some fucking kids.
What if it was your kid?
Right? But
Yeah.
this is my last story.
Oh my.
But this is good. I think this is a good one. So there's this one story of an elderly couple so there's one story I have that they let them in.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah.
Okay, so the BEKs knocked and asked to come in, saying that their parents will be here soon. May we come in? Obviously, being older, they let the kids in. Like, they're older people. Like,
yeah, I think I know the story, actually.
The wife went to make hot chocolate while the husband stayed with them asking questions that just went unanswered. The wife returned with the hot chocolate and noticed the cat, both terrified and angry. They then asked to use the restroom, and the wife finally got a good look, black eyes and all. She directed them to the restroom and returned to her husband, who was covering his face with his hands and asking if she had seen their eyes. When the husband showed his hands, they were full of blood from a nosebleed.
Ugh, yep.
The power then suddenly went out, and as the wife headed to the restroom, she was confronted by the kids saying, "Our parents are here." The kids then left, and even left the door like wide open when they left. So just like walked out and it was open. The wife then noticed that there were two tall, skinny men at the end of the driveway. So, I mean,
why are there men in black?
I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
Because if that is, then that's fucking alien.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay. So they all got in the car. They all, by meaning the two men and the two kids, got in the car and left. Once they were gone, their power suddenly turned back on. Throughout the next week, weird stuff started happening as well. 3 out of 4 cats went missing, with the 4th one being found dead in a pool of blood.
Okay, that's how they died. Oh.
Which is weird because, like, cats live fucking forever. And, like, to die like that suddenly and in that type of way.
And all of them?
Horrific, yeah.
Yeah, well, I guess some are missing, but you could assume.
The husband also continued to have nosebleeds, and when he finally went to the doctor, he was diagnosed with an aggressive form of skin cancer.
Okay, that's the one that, yeah.
Yeah, so, and I think it's hard to say, because, like, I do listen to a lot of podcasts, and I feel like, I don't remember if I read this or if I heard this on one, that somebody else had let them in at one point, and, like, they just beat the living shit out of him.
Oh.
So I don't know if that was actual BEK case or just kids being pieces of shit.
Yeah.
And like I said, I don't even know if I like remember that correctly, if it was something I read, something I heard, or just an assumption.
Yeah.
But those were our black-eyed kid stories.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like we got quite a bit.
Definitely. I did want to point out, though, in your second to last story, you're talking about, well, the OG story.
Yeah.
How one of the kids was really confident and the other one was not.
Yes,
so it's almost like, do you think they can like go through training or some shit?
Like, I don't know, but it does seem like in every single case, almost like that there's always one that does the talking.
And then one that's quiet.
I feel like maybe the quiet one might be used as like a bait.
Yeah.
In a sense, because like you have this like, oh, this is my little brother, or like, you know, like feel bad for
like,
me,
oh,
he's
I'm
so
scared. Yeah.
You know, and then, but like when you just mentioned training, like those 2 skinny black men or men in black, we don't know.
Yeah.
That's just what we just said.
Yeah.
Which I feel like is what they are.
Yeah. Which I don't fuck with, by the way.
Oh,
like,
fuck no, I don't fuck, nope, no, thank you. Like that makes sense. Like,
yeah.
And if they are trained, like maybe that was like, okay, we did it, we're done. Now what? And then maybe they moved on to like phase 2 of their training.
Yeah.
Like, but the fact that like I don't know, that story, like, and I think it's so funny that you had mentioned that. Like, right, like in my head, as soon as I read it, I was like, those are men in black. I don't know, but like.
It sounds, yeah.
So I feel like that kind of makes, to me, seems more like an alien.
Yeah,
like,
that's exactly why. And you know what, like, even before I had like real solid evidence, like the thought of it being an alien is really like what stuck with me. You know what I mean? Like that's
just kind of where you jumped.
Yeah.
See, I think I jumped more towards the demonic I think mostly because of, like, just my knowledge of, like, that in general and the fact that, like, they have to be invited in. Not necessarily that you have to, like, I mean, for the most part, people who have been possessed invite them in some sort of way.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of where I got that from. But that story, I feel like I do lean more like alien. And then in that sense, like we were mentioning before, like, could it be like a hybrid situation where, like, these are like, they're like quote unquote children?
Yeah.
I cannot stress this enough to you. I feel like we've gotten a couple new likes, which is weird because, like,
we haven't been posting. Even, like, on Instagram,
and
honestly.
it might just be, like, a friend.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We appreciate you.
We really do. Friends, family, I don't care who listens. Like, I just want people to, like, enjoy what we enjoy. And I know that our podcast is, like, I feel like it's less obscure than it was, like, 10 years ago even.
Yeah, for sure.
It's more common. But, like, if you have anything you want to share with us, if you have any ideas for episodes, or if you have experiences especially, like, even if we're not necessarily doing an experiences episode or, like, a pair share type thing, we can still share it on, like, any episode, like, just, like, in the beginning.
Yeah, we ramble. Like,
we like to hear from our fans, and we like to know what you guys want, so email us.
Yeah.
Facebook. Instagram.
We love that interaction, honestly.
Like, I mean, that's why I kind of, like I said, I started this by myself, but that's why I opted to host with Hailey, is because I like that back and forth. I feel like it's more than just me reading a piece of paper.
Exactly.
It gets so boring because I feel like what makes podcasts interesting is when there's interaction, be it with another host or with, like, your audience. So please email us. luridlorepodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook at Lurid Lore, and you can find us on Instagram, or Facebook is Lurid Lore Podcast, and Instagram is Lurid Lore. So please, by all means, if you have any interest in connecting with us, that is a great place to do so. We haven't gotten many, like, messages in the past, but, like, I'm very responsive, and I know Hailey would be too. But it's been a while since I've gotten, like, stories.
Yeah.
And other than, like, creepy, weird fucking messages.
Yeah.
Yikes.
And, like, if you want, you can message like, Instagram with a Facebook either. It doesn't have to be email.
It doesn't have to be email, because I know that's, like, I feel like that's pretty dated.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good to have. But, like, just, you can, like I said, email us, message us, inbox us, DM us, whatever. Just, like, we just like to know if you're out there. We're on YouTube. To be completely honest with you, just given the nature of how we post our episodes, I feel like YouTube's probably the best place to listen, because you can actually listen to everything. Because we host through Spreaker, but I'm cheap ass. And I haven't, like, bought, like, the premium. Like, we don't really have enough of an audience space to do that. So we can only have so many hours of recording. So whenever that space is filled up, we have to delete it. And that also, unfortunately, is deleted through Spotify as well. Yeah. So I definitely would recommend, if you haven't listened to, like, if you're a new listener and you haven't listened to all of our episodes, I would highly recommend checking us out on YouTube, because everything's on YouTube. Yeah. That's, like, the one place that is consistent with all of the episodes. Yeah. But other than that, just stay in touch. Let us know if there's anything you want to hear about, or if, like, you've heard, like, you know, maybe you have a Black Eyed Kid story that you want to share, like, be it yours or one that you've read that you're like, oh my gosh, you guys. Because I would definitely swing back around. Like, even the next episode, be like, oh my god, we got message from so-and-so's, like, you know, this is based on our episode last week. This is what they have to say. So please, just, we like engagement. We try to stay engaged. It's hard because we do have such a limited audience, but we appreciate you. Yeah. We really do. So thank you for listening
to our babbling
and ranting. And we will definitely see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.